All right, welcome back, guys. So today we're going to be talking fight announcements, and we've got a lot of them to talk about, quite a few. And we're going to start off with the one that's for next week. We had Justin Gaethje, who was supposed to be fighting um, Dan Hooker at UFC 313. Was going to be a really, really fun fight, but Hooker ultimately had to pull out due to injury, I'm pretty sure. And in steps Rafael Fiziev. They were going to do Mateus Gamrot. That was one of the options, and Gamrot was very vocal that he wanted that fight. I think he wants to get back in the win column after that Dan Hooker loss, but ultimately they gave it to Fiziev, and I understand why. They wanted to keep the energy of the fight. The fight was supposed to be a really violent war between Gaethje and Hooker, and now it's still going to be a very violent war, a rematch between Gaethje and Fiziev. And if it was against Gamrot, it just probably wouldn't have been as fun. So I understand why they made this move. And I doubt this is like a title eliminator or anything, even though it's placed very highly on a pay-per-view. It's just because of the name value and because these two are going to be very exciting and fun. So really good matchup right now. Fiziev is the favorite. I still need to tape. I still need to go and look at how the first fight went because I don't remember it super well. I know Gaethje pulled the upset, but I don't remember really the specifics. So I have to go and tape it. I lean a little like my gut leans Fiziev just a little bit, just because it was a close fight the first time, and he does have a lot of power. And Gaethje may be starting to go with the durability, but I don't know if I'm sold on that narrative because is he actually done with the durability, or did Max Holloway just land a million strikes in one fight and then get a knockout last second with a really well placed shot? I'm not sure. So I need to tape, but it's going to be a competitive fight. There's a good chance I end up with no money on it. I'm going to lean Fiziev right now, but he's been so inactive also where it's not easy to be confident on him at chalk. All right, next, not a fight announcement, but Dana White did kind of mention that he thinks that Sean O'Malley and Merab Dvalishvili is going to be next, and that makes a lot of sense. At this point, it's like there's only really a few options for Merab. It's either Sean or Peter Yan, both rematches, or Pantoja moves up in weight and goes for a double belt. But Pantoja, being the stud he is, he's staying at flyweight for now, and he's going to keep defending that title. So Merab, I think, will end up fighting Sean. It's going to be a good fight, a good rematch, but I don't really think Sean's going to beat him. Maybe if Sean puts the pedal to the metal way earlier than he did in the last fight, maybe he could win. But I don't think anyone's taking the title off Merab. I thought the only one who could would be Umar, and he didn't. So I think Merab's keeping that strap until he decides he's done with it. And then after that, we had Yoel Alvarez versus Benoit Saint-Denis. That was announced for UFC 315, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's official. Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's official. And that's a fight that if you've been watching my videos for a little bit, you know I've actually been calling for that fight ever since Yoel Alvarez's last win. And I just I felt like this would be a sick fight, would be violent, would just be chaos. And now that we're getting it, I think that's exactly what it's going to be. And I'm really excited for that matchup. Yoel Alvarez is a huge favorite already. And it's just crazy how quickly the sentiment in the UFC and the MMA community changes. A fight ago, Benoit Saint-Denis was destined for greatness. 2 fights ago, he was the guy to take on Islam because people favored him over Poirier at like minus 200. Then he was favored over Moicano at like minus 250. And now he loses those fights and everyone's like, he sucks. Let's all pour on Yoel Alvarez. And I feel like that might be a mistake. I think Benoit Saint-Denis actually does have the style to beat Yoel Alvarez. And I think he's going to be very live to do so in that fight. I'm really excited for it. And if the underdog odds remain after I tape, there's a good chance that I'll end up on Benoit Saint-Denis. After that, I'm hearing rumors. I don't believe this is a fight announcement yet, but I'm hearing rumors that Harrison versus Pena is next, also going to be at UFC Newark. I believe that's the same card that Pantoja and Kai Kara France are going to be on. And that, we all kind of saw that coming. Harrison's going to be a gigantic favorite. Pena, I don't even think she won her last fight against Pennington, but Harrison doesn't have a ton of 5-round experience. She has a little bit from the PFL, but we have seen her slow down in her UFC fights. We know that this weight cut to bantamweight is very difficult for her. She didn't have this weight cut when she had the 5-rounders in PFL, and now she does. And, Pena's not the worst, and Pena is a decent minute winner, and she does have good cardio. So I think Harrison should beat her, but I think that if Harrison doesn't get her out of there early, then it could end up being a competitive fight. So I'm probably going to stay away from any money lines, but we're probably going to see Harrison get the title. And then I think Harrison's going to call out Nunes, and Nunes maybe will come back from retirement. I'm not sure about that, but I think that's a possibility. Then we did have Corey Sandhagen versus Davison Figueiredo announced. That's a good fight. I've been really hoping to see Corey Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley, but this works too. Sandhagen versus Figueiredo should be a fun fight. I favor Sandhagen a little bit. I just think he's a really, really well-rounded guy. But Figgy's also really well-rounded, and he's doing pretty well at 135. I know he lost to Peter Yan, but so did Sandhagen. So I think it could be a competitive fight, but I definitely lean towards the Corey Sandhagen fight side. Gonna have to tape it some more, and where they open the line will be interesting. But this makes sense for a bantamweight matchup. And then we had Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill was announced as well. I don't remember the exact card for it off the top of my head, but that was a fight that was already booked before Roundtree got the title shot against Pereira. Now it's being rebooked. You know, if they were both fully healthy, I would pick Hill, and I still might pick Hill. I just feel like he's a little bit better and will be the bigger guy with a longer range, and he uses it well. But with the 2 knee braces during the fight with Jiri, I just don't know where Hill's health is at. I don't know where he's at with his body, 100 if he's 100% or not. So I'm not super confident on the side there. Also going to have to tape. Also going to have to see what the odds are. But I lean towards Hill, but that is a really good fight and makes sense because the light heavyweight division is going to be interesting after this next week with Pereira fighting against Ankalaev. If Pereira wins, what does he do? Does he wait and see who's next, or does he just move up to heavyweight and go for a third belt? Not sure. And then if Ankalaev wins, do they do a Pereira rematch? Not sure, but it makes sense that they're trying to figure it out under the championship level with guys like Hill and Roundtree, who might get another shot eventually. All right, then we had Gene Silva versus Bryce Mitchell announced for UFC 314. Gene Silva called for it after his last fight where he knocked out Melsick very quickly. He hasn't taken any damage, so he's good to go. He was ready to fight on this upcoming card on 313, but Dana was smart. I think that he realized that he can definitely get some hype and definitely sell some pay-per-views just off of the Gene Silva-Bryce Mitchell fight because everybody wants to see Bryce Mitchell. Well, unfortunately, not everybody, because our community is interesting to say the least. Not great. That's for sure. All the support for Bryce Mitchell is a little concerning, but it is a fight where I think most people, 99 or 98% of people, really want to see Gene Silva knock out Bryce Mitchell. They want to see Bryce Mitchell lose. I want to see Bryce Mitchell lose. And I think Gene Silva is the perfect guy to get that done and to get it done violently. So I'm really excited about that matchup. And then we had Marlon Vera versus Mario Batista announced as well. Everybody wants Batista to lose now because he got that win over Aldo. And it was quite frustrating and boring. And I had Aldo there, so it was really annoying. But at the end of the day, like, the kid won and he did what he had to do. He fought very smart. Kid, I think he's older than me. But either way, Batista's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter. Whether that win was boring or not, he got it done. He did what he had to do. And I think he's going to beat Marlon Vera. I think Marlon Vera is a little bit over the hill. I don't think he is what he used to be. And even then, he's never been a good minute winner. He's been specifically a moment winner. So for me, it makes sense for Mario Batista to be a favorite. I don't think the odds are out yet, but I think that's where it's going to be. And personally, if he's not, I would bet on Batista. I'd even bet him as a slight favorite because I just think he's a better minute winner than Marlon Vera at this stage of his career. And he has more ways to win with the grappling. And that's it, guys. That's it for fight announcements for now. Make sure to be looking out on the channel. I'll be releasing videos as more fights are announced, as news comes up. And thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.